Welcome. Today's video is all about squad building and how to set up your tactics. I will show you how I do it, the way I assess the strengths and weaknesses of my teams, how I assess the needs for signings in future players, how I assess short and long-term needs, how I start building my tactics around the players that I have. I'll also show you a few things that most people forget when starting a new save with a new team. And last but not least, some of the results that I achieved with the methodology that I use. If this is your first time here, welcome to my new channel. Hit the like button, subscribe, and let's do it. For this video, I'm using Urawa Reds from Japan. Why? Because I know nothing about Urawa Reds. I don't know much about the league. I don't know much about the players. So it's the perfect example for us to use here for this video. Why not? First day in the office, and the first thing we're gonna do is set up our tactics. So go to tactics. I am not going to choose any of the tactical styles. I'm not going to load my preferred tactic. I'm gonna create my own style based on the players I have on my squad, and most importantly, around the best players I have right now. I'm gonna choose any formation, it doesn't matter because they're gonna change it anyways. Alright, I don't know anything about my squad. I don't follow Urawa Reds, I don't follow the J League. I'm sure it's an amazing league, but the only thing I can do now is to trust my assistant coach, at least a little bit. So click on reports, go to ability, and then check here the list of your best players according to your assistant coach. So my best player right now is this guy, Schwartz. He's 4 stars. He is a defender. He's actually really good. The recommendation is to use him as a ball-playing defender. He does have good marking, good tackling, really good passing, really good technique, concentration, composure, decisions. He is a real ball-playing defender. So ball-playing defender here. Again, do not worry about the tactical formation right now because we're gonna change it. Next guy is Ito. According to my assistant coach, he's a deep line playmaker, a defensive midfielder, or a ball-winning midfielder. His marking is 10, aggression 10, bravery 10. I don't think this guy is a good marker, but he has first touch 13, passing 14, technique 15, vision 14, decisions 13. He is a really good deep line playmaker. So we're gonna move him here as a deep line playmaker. Next one is Jose Kante. He is a forward, a deep line forward according to my staff. His finishing is not good, but he has great first touch, technique, flair, off the ball, work rate, balance, strength. He moves into channels, he comes deep to get the ball. This guy is in fact a deep line forward. I will move him here as a deep line forward. Next is Marius Holbrighton from Norway. Really good player. Look at the mental skills, aggression, bravery, good first touch, amazing first touch, marking 15, passing 15, technique 15. This guy is a real ball-playing defender as well. So, move him to the starting lineup. By the way, he is also left-footed, so he's gonna play on the left. Ken Wow, he's 34 years old. He plays also as a deep line playmaker. Good passing, good technique, determination 20, amazing natural fitness 17. He does not mark really well, marking 8, tackling 12, aggression 9. He is definitely a deep line playmaker, or even a central midfielder in support. He can definitely be a great central midfielder. So I'll move him to the first team here. And now we will initially put him as a center midfielder right here, okay? Sakai is the next one. He is a fullback, inverted fullback. He's right-footed, good player, especially defensive. He's tall, he's strong, has good acceleration, not great stamina or pace. but definitely a great player. The thing about him is I will put him here as a fullback for now. He could be an inverted fullback, but for him to be an inverted fullback, it depends on the rest of the team and how I can shape the team. But for now, I'm going to keep him as a fullback, and then later we can discuss more aspects of each role. I don't want this to get too complicated now. Last guy with more than 3 stars is Nishikawa. He's the goalkeeper. 36 years old, not amazing, but he should be a good goalkeeper for the J-League. I'll show you more about it later. Put him in goal. Alright, so here we have our main players, our best players, and we're gonna build the team around them. The next step is to look at the players with 3 stars. I'm not gonna look at one by one, otherwise we're never gonna finish this video, but I already did my homework. And I will select this guy here, Shibato. He's a good defensive midfielder. You can see his marking is 12, but tackling is 15. Leadership is 15. He is tall. He's strong. Work rate is 16. He's a really good defensive midfielder. So Shibato will come in, and I will move him here as a defensive midfielder. The next player is Brian Linssen from the Netherlands. Really interesting player. It says here that he's a good Raumdeuter. It's a very unique player role in the game. Not every player can play in that role. Check this out. He has a 16 aggression, 18 determination, 16 leadership, off the ball, which is really important for a Raumdeuter, 15, finishing 15, but he's not fast, he's not strong, and he's short. But player traits: gets into opposition area, cuts inside from both wings. He is a real Raumdeuter. So I really want to play him there because it's rare to find someone who can do that. So I'm moving Brian Linssen here, and he's gonna play as a Raumdeuter attacking. I also checked all the other players, and there is no one who is really good to make me change my mind in terms of the tactics. So it's gonna be a 4-3-3. Now, Ohata, this guy here, is the only left-footed fullback or winger that I have on the team. He's 21 years old. He is interesting. He's a good player, good first touch, good passing, good technique, great balance. His pace could be better. His crossing could be better. I think he's going to develop a lot, and he's the only one I have. So I will put Ohata here as a wing back in support. He's very technical. He's short. He's not going to help me much against crosses. But Sakai, who is my fullback, is really good at marking. He's tall, so I can play him here in a more of a defensive role. I could play Sakai as an inverted fullback. Here's what would happen. He would, with the ball, Ohata would go up here, and then we would basically have 3 guys in the back with the ball, like this. Sakai being one of them, and then Ito, he could play and come here, get the ball. That's an option, but I don't want to do that. I'm going to use Sakai just as a fullback in support for now, and Ohata as a wing in support. And we'll see. During friendlies and matches, I can test different tactical styles and see what works best with the players that I have. And the last position is someone to play here on the right side. I chose Okubo. He is not a great player. He's 24 years old. As an inside forward, his finishing is 10. Composure is 10. I'm not a big fan. Maybe as an inverted winger, since he's left-footed, is the best option. Much better. His crossing could be better. His long shots could be better. But again, this is one of the positions where I think I'm going to have to sign someone. We will talk about squad needs soon in this video. But I'll have Okubo here, left-footed. Ito will drop more to get the ball. Okubo can come here and play as an inverted winger, help the team. So he will be my starter for now, but I'm not very excited. Once you have your starting 11, the next thing to do is come to squad overview registration. Here you need to learn more about the registration rules for the tournament. So for the J1 League, players of the age of 20 or younger do not have to be registered. I need a minimum of 4 players trained by Urawa for 3 years before 21st birthdays. So homegrown players. And the maximum size of my squad is 25 players. If I cannot reach the minimum rules, so for instance here, if I cannot get 4 homegrown players, spaces must be left in the squad selection. So let's take a quick look and see how many homegrown players I have in my squad. Right now I have 1, Takahiro Sekine. Do I have anyone in my reserve squad? There is 1 guy here, Horiyushi, so I'll move him to the senior squad. And in the U18, there is no one. So what does that tell us? It tells us that in a squad of 25 players, 4 need to be homegrown and 21 can be any player. However, if you don't have 4 homegrown players, you will have to leave that spot open, so you cannot register a regular player. In my case, because I have only 2 homegrown players, I can only register technically 23 players, 2 homegrown and 21 non-homegrown. So next, I'm gonna go to the squad and start selecting all the players that will be the subs for each one of my starting 11. Okay, I'm done with my assessment. I have 21 players, and there are 2 positions that I do not have any good subs. I looked at the reserves, there is no one good enough, and it is a center midfielder and also a left back. So we know that these are 2 positions that we have to recruit for next season, but that's later. So next, we're going to start thinking about how we want to work with our tactical style. So what I do, I go to Squad Planner, and here I look for weaknesses and strengths of my first team. I basically write down a piece of paper everything I find here, and I like to break the information down into 3 specific areas: mental, physical, and technical. So for strengths, you can see here that my team is really strong in terms of mental attributes, so aggression, determination, teamwork, bravery, positioning, decisions, vision. It's a really good squad in terms of mental skills. As far as technical, the team is really good at passing, long shots, and marking. There is nothing really remarkable about physical skills. In terms of weaknesses, for physical, we have dribbling, acceleration, and strength. For technical, tackling, heading, and crossing. And for my goalkeeper, technical skills, throwing, and kicking. So now I know the mental, technical, and physical strengths and weaknesses. So I go back to tactics, and now it's a combination of that information and some specifics about the players that we selected as our starting 11. So one thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna select play out of defense. And the reason is, if we go back here, if you remember, both of our center backs have really good attributes for defenders with the ball. So this is a great option to play out of defense. Also, our goalkeepers, if you remember, have really bad throwing and kicking. So if I click on Ishikawa, who is my main goalkeeper, his passing is not bad, it's 14. His throwing is okay, it's 10. I guess that assessment is basically driven by the stats of our backup, Niwekawa. Yes, passing 5, throwing 8. That's what's basically driving the assessment of the assistant coach. My starter goalkeeper is not really bad. So what I'm trying to tell you is do not only trust the assistant coach's assessments because it's based on every player you have on the squad, but I will go ahead and have my goalkeeper always play the ball to the center backs and the full backs because, hey, they're really good with the ball. We want them to play out of defense. It makes sense. Also, if the backup goalkeeper plays, we don't want him, throwing or kicking the ball. Well, if you remember, our midfielders are really good with the ball. So I want the ball to, get through the middle. So I'm going to select this option here because I want these guys touching the ball and being responsible for bringing the ball from the defense to the attack. Next, if you remember, the assessment from the assistant coach was that my team is not good at dribbling or acceleration. And he's right. If you look at our fastest players, for instance, Linson, who plays as a Raumdeuter, does not run. He has acceleration 11 and pace 9. Okubo, who is the guy that I want to replace eventually, he has acceleration 12, pace 13. Both of my wingbacks, Ohata, acceleration 12, pace 9. I don't have fast players. So what that means is I'm going to dribble less and I'm going to go with short passing because I don't want my team running after the ball. They have good composure, good decisions, good passing. Let's keep possession. Tempo also is lower. I don't need to run, I need to keep the ball. That's what my team does really well. Also, the supporters want some sort of possessions football. So if you click on Club Vision, the board has no expectations as far as the type of football I should play, but the supporters want me to play possession football. So it's a good match, the type of football they expect and what it puts together. I'm not going to change anything else. I like changing some things depending on the game, the players on the field. I will change, one more thing, attacking with a narrow because I want the team to keep possession. It makes a lot of sense. Anything else, it really depends on the game, on future players I signed. I will go with this right now. That's the foundation, that's the basis of my team. If you click here up top on the familiarity, you will see that some parts of the tactics are fluid, some are competent or awkward. This is not something hard to fix. You can actually fix this during preseason. I recommend you watch the video I recorded on preseason on how to do it. It's going to be in the description below or even maybe as a card here in the video. Now we have the tactics, we have the squads, we know what kind of football we want to play. Next step is to then think about the team needs, the squad needs, and then look for new players, potential signings, short term and long term. Short term is now, and as you remember, we discussed needing a center midfielder, a left back, and a right winger. So what I do, I go to Squad Planner and I go to Comparison, and here I think is a really good tool that you can use. For instance, for the midfielder, I go on midfield and I only click on midfielders. Here I can see that my team right now is really lacking in terms of tackling. I'm below average in the J1 league and also in long shots. So I will look for someone who plays in the middle as a center midfield who is good at tackling to help my team fill this void here and get stronger in this area of the game. Also, as you know, because we play short passing, we play possession football, this player also needs to have good passing, good decision making, and all that. Another option is look for a player that you don't have right now, of course. So in my case, I don't have any really good advanced playmakers or mezzalas. Those are positions that could work with my team. Those are players I can look for. Maybe someone faster, since speed is not really good. A mezzala would be great, or even an advanced playmaker. And you do the same for every position that you need. When it's your first year, your knowledge of players is really limited, especially if you're playing a league where you don't know anyone. So my recommendation is, in my case here, for instance, for the center mid, I would go to the general manager and ask him to suggest center mids, free transfer, loans, transfers, whatever it is, and I would potentially just scout these players and see if I find someone who meets the needs of what I need. Also, another option is to just go to player search, right? So you go to scouting, you can look at scouted players in your database, which is not that very extensive because it's brand new, or players in range. And then here, you know, just do some basic search and invite some free transfers, free agents to join your club. Have your scouts look for some free players or players that would fit your needs. I'll talk about scouting in the next video, but just be creative. In the beginning, it's not that easy to find players. Once you have a more extensive database, it gets much easier. In terms of squad building, the last thing that I do is to get rid of any dead wood. So let me look at my finances and you see that I'm currently overspending in terms of payroll. First thing I do is to go to my reserve squad and filter by age, and anyone here who is older than 23 and is not good, I put in a transfer list. I find a way to get rid of them. I sell them, I loan them so the other team pays for their salary, but I do my best to lower my payroll. Other players like these guys here who are 23, 22, if they're not good, they're out. If they're decent, then I loan them. And I do the same for both the reserves and the under 18, which in my case, I have no one and I don't know why. So fast forward, I brought one player already, this guy here, Yuta Higuchi. I brought him from Kashima Antlers for 3.5 million. He's a center midfielder. He does not mark well. I could not find a good marker. But look at this. Corners 17, crossing 17, free kick taking 14, first touch 14, passing 14, technique 14, acceleration 14, determination 16. He's a very technical player. He will be a great replacement for my other center midfielder who is almost 35 years old already, so about to retire. He's great. So I found someone. Also, he plays as a Mezala, which is a position or role that I don't have right now in my squad. In terms of tactics, it has really worked so far. I only lost one official game in the year. It's early in the season, but I am leading the J1 League with Gamba Osaka. And if you look at my numbers, for instance, against Kobe, I had 70% possession, 664 passes completed. Also against Fukuoka, 91% passes completed out of 735 passes, 68% possession. Against Tokyo, for the opening of the tournament, 63% possession with 699 passes. The team's playing really well. It's doing what we set the team to do early in this video when we set up our tactics. And this is how you get ready for the upcoming season. For future seasons, it's a combination of squad management and scouting, and I will make a video on that. I will show you how to think about your next couple of seasons and how to set up your scouting to make sure you're successful. I hope you liked the video. Leave a comment if you made all the way here. Thank you very much.